Hello, Vanakkam and welcome to Sudarshan Speaks. I'm Sudarshan, the host. Today I have the one and only Anil Reddy from Lollipop Design Studio. He made the word design, he established the word design in India, I would say. One of my admiration. This episode was planned like 6 months back. Like I kind of spoke to the Chennai head of Lollipop, Mr. Nasir. Then later this went on, and like after 6 months, we are in this call. Hey Anil, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sudarshan, and wonderful to meet you here. Just last month or a couple of weeks back, I saw you in this Chennai Designer Tea,
Yes.
and so nice. I saw Nasir's interview, very nice, and a lot of people mistook him for Kunal Shah. So he still looks like one, and even the recent photo with him, someone messaged me on LinkedIn saying that so nice of you to meet Kunal Shah.
Really, it
I
happened?
just I just left it as is. I didn't say anything. So he's the Kunal Shah of our company.
Dude, I went to Chennai office like in the first week of January. Like
Mm.
we were talking for a while, like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And after, like I asked him whether someone asked you whether he looks like Kunal Shah or what. Then he said, "Yeah, bro, it happened. It happened many times." Same ditto, same like yeah, both physically, both in the face, like everything.
Ama. I think he recently got his new specs, which is
Mm.
very similar to Kunal Shah. That's what makes
Oh,
him look
such
like
a
him.
wonderful person, but design at T kind of increased my respect to him. That the show, which I'd say, like I've been attending different design events for like 3 or 4 design events during this summer in Chennai. And like most of the time, I was like, okay, let me get out of this as soon as possible. I'm bad at networking, first of all. So like I won't talk to a person if I doesn't know them before. Like if I know you, I'll come to you and say hi. If I doesn't don't know you, I won't even come near you. That's my kind of way. But design IT kind of break that, and the lot of icebreakers which happened, and which is not like a typical design event, workshops, no nothing. Just come, chill around, sing song, dance with each other, dance and enjoy. It's a celebration, as you said. Right? It's a celebration, design celebration.
So it was very well planned by our team, and they were very clear on what the event should be. Because even as designers, I attend a lot of events, and even my Chennai team keeps attending events. The one thing they don't like about the events is it's always one-sided. There's one person standing on the stage and talking, and rest of them listening or taking notes. And most of the crowd don't listen to people anymore. I think all these things they already have enough going on YouTube. Now there are reels where you watch people speaking. I think people had enough of people speaking. So now they want to collaborate and they want to celebrate. And thus, Designer T, right? The Chennai team planned it in a way where we'll bring all the designers and we'll celebrate together instead of sharing knowledge, right? There was a knowledge sharing, but in a nice, beautiful format.
And the Lollipop culture, I have visited different companies, but Lollipop gave me a different vibe. The people like whenever I go there, and they are like ஒரு 10 வாட்டி பார்த்த மாதிரி they will treat me. Sometimes that's kind of like I even asked Nasir how did he pick each and every person in Chennai office. I did even ask him that whether it replicates in other centers like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and listeners who are listening here, and Lollipop have different design centers across globe. In Chennai they have 4 centers. From in Chennai, Bangalore, it's their first office. Then Hyderabad and Mumbai, and in US they have different office like Salt Lake City, then Dallas and San Jose, and Dubai. Now Anil is in Dubai. He is kind of building the Dubai center currently, and also they have another office in Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yes, yeah. If I missed any, or is there any more?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Good. Yeah, and I kind of asked Nasir that whether the same culture which is happening in all around the globe, is that right? Is the same happened,
Very
or?
much, very much, very much, very much. So I always tell people design is a celebration. So no matter what happens inside, right? Whether some days you produce good design, some days not so great design, it's a part and parcel of the celebration. Not every cracker you burst it goes up in the sky and sparkles, right? Some doesn't. So end of the day the celebration matters. So it's the same for me. I don't see the difference between Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, or Vietnam. Whenever wherever I go, right, it's a very similar vibe, and that lollipop, right, it's as sweet as eating lollipop. So everyone is always high on energy, high on design, and இது எல்லா சென்டர்லுமே இப்படிதான் இருக்கும். அந்த டிசைன் அட்டி செலிப்ரேஷன் எல்லா சென்டர்ல ஓடிட்டு இருக்கும்.
Yeah, everyone follow
24.
Anil on his Instagram. You will see Lollipop's culture. Yeah.
So this time my team made me dance for a song, and I love dancing. Dance la எனக்கு வராது, but I dance to entertain people. So I think dance brings people together, music brings people together, but I can't play music.
Anil, you worked on films, right, in the early periods of career, but in the non-camera side, I would say. Like, can we just start from there? Like, have you ever came in any scene in the movies?
No.
Fortunately, no.
And the music.
Do you have any other plans? Like in even Chennai, also many people insisted you to try something in the future.
Where in
Like
movies?
in movies, yeah.
No. I'm good as a designer. I can be an artist. I anyways act every day.
You act.
I don't have to act in front of the camera.
Okay.
But yeah, my journey started as an artist, and I did various jobs to survive as an artist. And on the art back then, right, I didn't have a career. நம்ம 1990s பார்த்தா ஆர்டிஸ்ட்கெல்லாம் அவ்வளோ கரியர் கிடையாது, அவ்வளோ ஜாப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸும் கிடையாது. ஸோ ஐ வாஸ் டெக்கரேட்டிங் ஸ்டேஜஸ். I used to do some movie cutouts and stuff.
Okay.
Like Tamil Nadu is known for a banner artist. அந்த கையில் வர ரொம்ப நல்லா பண்ணுவாங்க. எனக்கு ஐ வாஸ் ட்ரெயின்ட் அண்டர் அ வெரி வெல் நோன் பேனர் ஆர்டிஸ்ட், அண்ட் தென் அப்படியே கிராஜுவலி இட் பிகேம் ஐ காட் கனெக்டட் டு த சினி இண்டஸ்ட்ரி இன் தமிழ்நாடு.
When
And
it
actually
happened?
வந்து in 1997.
97. Like, is that after your graduation or before that?
இல்லை நான் இன்னும் தேர்ட் இயரில் இருந்தப்போ.
Okay. Okay. Then where did you did
So a
your
lot of the batchmates left the college.
UG?
படிக்கும் போது எல்லாம் காலேஜ் விட்டுட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா அப்போ வந்து people used to scare us about studying design and art. So people told there is no jobs outside. There is no point studying for 5 years. So நிறைய பேர் பாதியில
You took BFA or what?
BFA.
BFA in Hyderabad or
Bangalore.
Bangalore? Cool.
I studied in Chitrakala Parishad, and then I got connected to the people in the cinema industry in Chennai. Back then, Chennai was the most happening. It used to be the capital of cinema in the southern part of India. So now it is all spread out. All the technicians used to come from Chennai. Some great technical people came from Chennai. So thus I came to Chennai first time. So நான் சென்னையில் லேண்ட் ஆகும்போது அப்போ தமிழ் தெரியாது, எனக்கு சுத்தமாக தெரியாது.
Okay.
So I had to work under carpenters, POP artists, light boys. அப்போ வந்து சங்கமம் ஒரு பிக்சர், தமிழ் பிக்சர், ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸ் பிக்சர் அது. ஆனால் அந்த பிக்சர் didn't do very well in the box office, but critically Rahman is a Malayali actor.
Okay.
So he was the hero, and Rahman is the actor, and A.R. Rahman is the music director. Manivannan was Rahman's father in that.
Like I think I remember the song Malai Thuli Mannil Sangam. அந்த படமா அது? அந்த படம் தான். Yes. Okay.
அது ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸ் பாட்டு. அந்த பாட்டெல்லாம் சூப்பராக இருக்கும், ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கும் பாட்டு. தென் பிரபுதேவாஸ் ஃபாதர் வாஸ் கொரியோகிராஃபிங் ஃபார் த சாங் தட் ஐ டிட். அதில் வந்து கண்ணில் வரும் காட்சியெல்லாம் ஒரு பாட்டு வரும்.
Okay.
ஸோ அதில் வந்து நான் ஹீரோ ஹீரோயின் ஒரு ட்ரீம் சீக்வென்ஸுக்கு போவாங்க. அந்த ட்ரீம் சீக்வென்ஸ் தான் நான்
more of English. I'm sorry. Yeah.
கண்ணில் வரும் காட்சி, that's the song in Sangamam. So that song required certain set background and stuff, and that's what I worked on. And I thought after that movie I will settle down in Chennai and I'll become an art director. I was a big fan of Thotatarni, who's still one of the top art directors in Indian cinema. For all Shankars. Thotatarni is the art director for Shankar's movie, most of the Shankar's movie.
Still now or in the 90s?
He's like the top. And I thought I'll stay in Chennai and I'll become an art director, work for movies. But the destiny had a different plan. Then that time, I couldn't survive as a artist in the cinema industry because you have to register yourself first. You have to get an identity card, and then Cine Association will accept you. And then after that, there's a long process. I didn't do any of those things. I went straight to the studio and started working. So and then I left. There was again no money. Cinema and all that, you can't make money overnight. And I was desperately in need of money because to pay my fees, my college fees, and also the condition at home was not that great. So I had to survive. So then I came back to Bangalore, and that's when that 1 month of staying in Chennai is where I learned Tamil. I
Okay, the
learned
one
all the
month you came in, worked on the movie, then left to Bangalore again.
I left Chennai.
Hmm.
But I fell in love with the city. Until then, I used to come to Chennai to visit my relatives. My relatives who are somewhere around Arkonam.
Hmm.
My close cousins are all there in Arkonam, and so I used to come to
What's your
Chennai very often.
favorite? I know you are a big biryani fan or fanatic, I would say. What's your favorite place for biryani in Chennai?
Chennai, as of now, I'm a Jabbar Boys fan.
Jabbar Bhai, where it is?
He's very famous YouTuber. I
Okay.
think Jafar Bhai or Jafar Bhai. Jafar Bhai.
Jafar Bhai. இந்த ஏரியால
இந்த ஏரியாக்கு அது தெரியாது. பசங்கள கூப்பிட்டு போவாங்க. We go on a two-wheeler.
still now you go there.
I always go there. But he's now opened a branch here in Dubai.
Oops. Okay.
So he is actually the Jafar Bhai. He is actually in Dubai now. So
Okay.
he operates from Dubai.
I need to know the
So
location.
very good biryani. Very
Okay.
flavor and nice, very fulfilling, heart fulfilling, and stomach fulfilling biryani.
What happened post the undergraduation?
I came back to Bangalore. Then I was thinking about what next because as an artist, I couldn't build my career. As an art director, I tried something. I was too young, I believe, and I didn't have the skills to navigate through the cinema industry. And then I came back to Bangalore, and then I continued doing whatever I was doing small artworks to earn money. Then after that, one of my friend introduced me to a company where I had to draw on computers, and that started my career in the digital world.
In Bangalore?
So Bangalore.
Okay.
So 1999 was when I got into computers. Until then, I didn't know anything about computers. I only saw from a distance, but I never touched a computer. I didn't even know what a computer is. In school also they never introduced computer, so I didn't know what that was, but I knew that people used to create some wonderful things using it. But unlike today, every house has a computer. Back then, the entire area or a colony will have one or two people using it, and they will hide it because of the virus, dust, and all that. Right, they'll cover it. And
What do you think,
computers.
Anil? Sorry to interrupt, but whether this tech and all these sort of like yeah, in the period of years, I mean, in your 20s or early 20s, you don't have that access to computers. Most of the times, you will be in with the pen and paper to create something, and later the inception of these computers came to the scene. Then internet, then now AI, generative AI especially. It what do you think? It amplifies the creativity, or it kind of puts us down?
I think every innovation is for a reason, and today, whatever we could generate using computers or AI, designer and artist has always been a part of it. See, a machine learns, and then it generates certain things. Where does machine learn from? It learns from artists who have already created for years and years together. So, machine is trying to learn what we created in the past, and it's trying to create a future. So now AI can only be our friend. Okay, and it is not an enemy or it is not something bad. It's good, but again, today this year I think the data is out. The amount of images that was generated using AI, right? I think it touched some billion. I don't remember.
Oh,
Someone, I saw it on a reel. Somebody just quickly said this is the amount of images people created. As an artist, if I have to honestly say, it hurts me to see that people enter few word commands and come and the computer generates a beautiful image, which we used to take days and months to create those using our hand, using our heart, using our brain, using our skills, using our experience. Now suddenly anyone can go and put a prompt and then boom, it just creates within a fraction of a second. So while it is good, we can use that in a nice, great way. But for an artist, for me as an artist, it somewhere pinches badly that what I used to do using my hands, now computer does that much faster and much better. As an artist, I feel that for a non-artist, they will argue with this.
Yeah.
They'll say that you guys are jealous of it. Yes, we are jealous of it. Yes, I am honestly jealous of all the AI things. But if you ask me who I am half technology and half artist. So I appreciate AI. I also appreciate art.
Yeah, like I'm sort of bit optimistic, but on the other side, in 2016 and 2017, during that period, I used to be that Photoshop guy who just download like who like do a lot of photo manipulations, and I just put my time like usually around 5 to 8 hours for creating one picture, and even though I will not be satisfied, that takes for a whole week. I just keep on iterating them and create a picture, then I just post it on my social media or something. Then that the comment which I get, which is kind of very close to my heart, and now I kind of put a prompt and get the image. Um, I don't know, like in the olden period, people like put years of time to create a single piece of art, and they come out and say, okay, I have created 40 pieces of art in my whole life, and now people are like, they can create a lakhs of art in their lifetime, and I don't think whether they feel significant about one of their art pieces.
I think the feeling of creating it, um, I cannot comment on it, but I don't know if AI artists feel proud of what they created. I have tried and I've seen few output. It's not as big as creating using hands. Okay, anything that I sketch, right? If you go on Instagram, I take a photo, I make a reel out of it, and I tell a story, and I'm very proud of it. On the other side, I also create for a few AI generated images. I don't feel like sharing it because there are people who are entering better prompts and commands and creating even better stuff. So it's just through words. Look, I am with AI. I am also hurt when AI does better stuff as an artist.
Where the art is going?
Art will become gold, art will be appreciated, anything handmade will be even more expensive now. Now is the time when artists will stand up and demand their price. Because all this while they were worried about what will happen to them. But to be honest, I recently went to Chettinad.
Okay, Karikudi
Okay, I traveled to Karaikudi and Athangudi. I'm building a house and I was looking for a handmade furniture.
in
Today we
Hyderabad
have
or
a no, 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 in Chettinad.
okay, well, Veed, where are you building your
We
house?
were the Bangalore.
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 Okay.
So my house is a collection of all handmade stuff. So I came to Chettinad. The carpenters over there, they don't use machine. They carve. And each and every furniture is masterpiece. And the best part about that furniture is over the time I can sell it at double the cost.
Like Jordans.
And today it is expensive, but it is worth paying each and every penny. Athangudi tiles, furnitures, they're all handmade. The demand for it is now increasing because there's so many factory made stuff which is coming and which has become very, very cheaper, which doesn't last long. But it kind of fulfills your instant requirement. But when you reach a stage when you want really good looking, sustaining, and something that fulfills your heart, you have to go to a handmade stuff. Those handmaids are very expensive. So to answer your question, where does art stand today? I think just wait and watch for a year. give it 1 year's time, artist will be in super demand.
Are you creating any as a personal project or something?
I do doodles and sketches, but I have a dream of having a show,
Okay.
which I will eventually create my own paintings, murals, and stuff, and I'll have a solo show, and also I will participate in other shows.
Have you done it before with your old artworks, something
My artwork was displayed a few months back in Bangalore.
in the
That
Lollipop
was
office or some other exhibitions?
it was in a very prominent center in Bangalore. The artwork that I posted on Instagram about women empowerment. So that artwork was recognized, and they took a print and they displayed it on one of the galleries. That's one. But in college days, I've done many.
Okay.
And when I was studying in New Zealand, my typography posters were printed in a large, like life size, and they displayed it in the exhibition.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to the old story which we kind of came off. Yeah. After UG, you kind of went to New Zealand. What happened? What made you to took the decision to go out of the country and do your masters?
So after my while graduating only, I started working. Then I got into computers. I learned how to code and how to design using Photoshop. Then PageMaker was one of the biggest tool. Macromedia, Dreamweaver, Freehand, all this were an alternate to Illustrator. And so I'm kind of learned how to build websites and stuff. And I worked for 2 years, and then I went. No, after graduation, I worked for 1 year. Then I went to Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I went to Saudi purely for money, and I saved up money to study abroad. And somewhere inside me, I wanted to know more about design
You are working
because I
as
thought
in Saudi Arabia?
as a web designer.
Okay.
So I here was craving to find out more about design, because the one what I knew about design was more towards the aesthetic side of it, the look and feel. Then I felt there is much more to it. That's when I decided to study further and went to New Zealand. So
Okay.
I studied in Design and Arts College of New Zealand in Christchurch. Then I finished my studies. Then I worked and lived in New Zealand for 10 years.
What happened? You worked in different companies there, and finally, when you kind of came to India, before you coming to India, you were working as a design director at some company. You worked with different clients like Adidas and a bunch of you. I forgot the name.
I
I'm sorry.
worked as an art director. I
Oh, I'm
started
sorry.
as a visual designer, web designer, digital designer, GUI designer, and
GUI.
then GUI stands for GUI, which is graphical user interface.
Okay. Okay.
So back then, UI was called GUI, GUI. So they still, even if you go to companies like Cisco's and IBM's, they still call it GUI.
Okay.
What we call it as UI, right? They call it as GUI.
Okay.
So I had a different title based on the company and the kind of work that I did. But I got into advertising side of it. I got into an agency called Ogilvy, which is world's best agency.
Yes.
And then from there, I moved to TBWA. Back then, people never
How was
believed
it
in
in
tech.
Ogilvy? You were designing websites there or some other
I was
marketing
designing campaigns,
collaterals?
websites, a lot of stuff for digital, for Adidas, for Nestle, for from all consumer brands and B2B, and that gave me the exposure to get into the digital side of it. And why do brands want to invest in digital, and what are they expecting out of it? And that got me into UX, UI research, and all this stuff.
I read somewhere that you like hate this term called UI UX, and after New Zealand you came to India and started a UI UX agency called Lollipop Design Studio. Lollipop UX UI Design Studios. What's the story behind
Uh,
that?
any name given to design, I don't say I won't, I hate it. It's just that every title, according to my experience, this is my 23rd year in design as a professional, trying to build my career here, 23 years. In 23 years, I've seen design having multiple titles. Okay, and most of these titles, some title stays, some title just disappear. So UI UX as of now is happening. We just have to wait and watch the next couple of years what will happen to it. Now it's already got into product. Now people quickly updated their LinkedIn profile to product design, and I don't know what they're going to update it in future. But I don't say I hate the title, but for me, title is absent. The designer is present. So what you put in front of it, it's up to you. Whether you
Actually,
put UI graphic, visual, it's up to you. But designer is something that I really like.
uh, we have this clash between with my friends. Like I study in an industrial design school, and I would call myself a product designer. I'm a digital product designer actually. Worked in a project sometime back in an internship, and I used to fight with my friends, and they are like, "We make tangible product," and you are like fake designer. They always call me a fake designer. Yeah, it happens.
Actually, the term product design comes from industrial design only.
Yeah, yeah.
The mother of all design is industrial
Industrial
design
design.
only.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the title comes from.
Yeah, you are in
And
a.
I think there's a whole lot of confusion when you say product design. A lot of people, especially the industry thought leaders, think that you are a physical product designer when you say product designer. And when you say no, I'm a digital, that's when they're like, okay, fine.
Have you worked on any other tangible product before?
Not as a not as my career, but as a hobby and as a time pass, I worked on few things and I went to China to manufacture it.
Oh, cool. Okay, right.
So it was a small custom USB, where the USB and the chip I used to buy it from the market, and whatever comes on top of it, people can customize it.
Okay.
So today USB doesn't exist because of the cloud storage. So back then people used to carry USB. I found all the USBs boring. So then I started manufacturing some rubber items where you can connect it and you can make your own fancy USBs.
Yeah, yeah. Like it kind of vanished. I used to be that guy who started with 2 GB pen drive. Then later, now 64 GB is kind of accessible to me now currently, but we are not using it anymore. Even for all of these video editing and stuff, I just put it in cloud, send it to my editor, and he just does the work.
I used to carry something called floppy disk, which was 128 KB,
128 KB.
128 kilobytes.
What you will store
Then
in
came
that?
to 56 kilobytes. Yep.
What you will store in that 128 kbps?
Word, Notepad, PageMaker files,
Ah,
and then came one MB floppy disk,
right.
and there was a rewritable floppy disk. There is one-time use floppy disk, and there is a
Yeah.
good.
Um, yeah, like you are in a very good position in New Zealand. What made you try something like Lollipop? Come back to India. What made you took the decision?
I'm one crack head. I always come up with new things. One day I'm in
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, another day I'm in New Zealand, and suddenly I'm trying something in art, and then I go back to technology. I've always been this kind of a character.
Okay.
So everything was fine and good in New Zealand. I felt like I was hitting that retirement kind of life where things are going fine and I don't know what next and not much of a challenge in front of me. So the biggest challenge that I wanted to take was come back to India where design was nothing and no designer had a job. So to come back and see if I can build a company and make it big. But again, make it big was not in the plan. I just wanted to come back and start something and see if I can pull this off. I felt like I learned quite a lot of stuff in New Zealand, and thanks to my ex boss and the company that I worked for, they were a wonderful boss, and they always encouraged me to do things, and they always cheered me up when I told my decision that I'm going back to India. Mm. And they even till today, they whatever small achievement um, that comes to me, right, they are the first one to write, stand up and clap. So such kind of a colleague and boss I have. And I came back And the first thing that I saw was they were design studios who were trying to get into UI UX space, and they were design studios who were typical graphic, visual, and web design. And there were other studios who were trying to do everything from print, logo. You give them anything and they'll do everything.
All agencies
So I
nowadays,
thought,
they do anything and everything. Design, yeah, we'll do
yeah,
it. Development, will do it. Everything, marketing, will do it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So my idea was to see if I can come and build a niche studio that focuses only on research and design. So it was a very difficult spot to be in because 2011, if whenever I spoke about UI UX, nobody understood what I was talking about. They thought I was talking something that made no sense. And it was eventually people understood what UI UX was. No students were ready to build a career in it. No designers wanted to get into it. No design schools wanted to introduce UI UX as a course. I had been to so many design schools in India, and I told them that this is the future and introduce the course now. And they were like, we cannot make the change. We cannot bring technology into an art school. Today, if when you they can't even think of it, right? Of saying anything like that. Today, every art school, design colleges have introduced design courses. They have UX, UI, digital. They have so many things that they're covering up. I started telling them in 2011. Only few listened to it, but most of them said,
Wonderful. Like, how was the early period? And can you talk about your first few set of clients? How it happened?
In one of the podcast, I told in detail that my first few projects was a disaster, and no money, no fame, no portfolio. So basically, a very hard lesson learned. So I met the client, and basically we both overpromised. He said, "I will give you too many projects. Don't worry." Then I said, "I will do anything and everything for you." So then I realized that this is not the kind of a conversation you should have with a client. With client, understand what the client wants, understand what the product wants, understand what the user wants, and deliver what is required. You don't have to get very emotional or excited and over promise too many things. So I didn't know how to make a contract. I didn't know how to make invoice, and everything was open. So my contracts were very very open. For example, you come to me and ask, "Will you design this website?" I will say yes.
Were
So
you
in
only
my
doing
email,
UI UX or websites in the time of 2011 or 2012 when it started, or you?
2011 and 12 until 13, I designed and developed. So I used to also code.
Okay.
I did the front end and the back end. I used to set up database, and I used to um, write some really hardcore coding. And Credit Vidya, which recently got acquired by Cred by Kunal Shah. That entire website, the first two versions of it, I only designed and
Oh,
coded, including brand identity, website, and code. I used ASP.NET and XSLT, set up the database on a MySQL on a
okay.
Windows server. So I did end to end.
Okay. Then,
Even the first three, four versions of Lollipop, I only coded.
okay.
I used Umbraco for the CMS and I coded that.
When you started it, it was a complete all-in-all studio. It does both design, development, and things around.
Development was not something that we took. We only did. I personally did that because back then, few startups were very, very close to me, and they became my good friends. So as like a barter system, we they helped me with something, and I helped them with launching the website. So not as a service. We never offered development as a service. Only for few clients we did.
Okay. What made you
I
choose?
personally did.
What made you choose Bangalore instead of Chennai or Mumbai? Any other cities in
Bangalore is
India?
my hometown.
Okay. Okay.
Born and brought up in Bangalore. Then, and Bangalore is the place to be if you are into IT and startup,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because there was in 2011 and 12 and 13 there was an explosion of startups in Bangalore. So every other person in Bangalore, especially if you go to a coffee shop, everybody spoke about new ideas and raising funds. Coffee shops were filled with entrepreneurs who are very very big founders now. So they were all sitting and discussing about what to build next. So from to be in Bangalore was the best decision, and I think the weather is good. People are amazing,
Yeah, it is.
and it's not too far from Chennai, right? Bangalore attracts people from all over the India. People from Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad. Everybody comes to Bangalore because of the weather, because of the amount of pubs and bars it has.
Yeah. So I heard another podcast in by One Thing Design. You said that your first client was terrible, and like you did closely hundreds of screens for just 7,000 rupees. Then later you told about Alma Mater, which is your the next client who which is kind of a better.
I run a company, and we are into design.
Okay. Like who are the first 10 accounts you handle, and where are they from? Like from India or like from other countries? Can you name few and talk about them?
Credit Vidya was one of the first
Mm-hmm.
who gave us the opportunity. Back then, Avi is the founder of Credit Vidya, and the company I mentioned, which got acquired by Cred, right? Um, Avi was just one man trying to build it. It was called Apna Credit, and then
Okay.
he renamed it to Credit Vidya. Then I quickly came up with the logo, and then I did three versions of that logo.
Okay.
And then Upstocks was one of the company who came to us when we were very very small, and they gave us that opportunity. Alma Mater, Varun Agarwal is the one I should really thank him here. I always remember he is my really good buddy, and he gave the first opportunity for us to tell the world who Lollipop is, and Alma Mater gave us the limelight. Then after that, Swiggy, Mintra, all these things happened. So there are quite a lot of clients who believed in a small studio like us. And to highlight one, I always the brand that is very close to my heart is Upstocks,
Why? Any
because I
particular reason?
design. The reason is I came up with the name Upstocks,
Okay.
and the founders are amazing and very driven, very honest, and someone who really wanted to build some good stuff for the Indian audience. So they always have the vision, and the vision is still the same. I keep meeting the founders, and they always want to see that, keep telling me that we want to financially educate people about staying financially fit. We want to tell all the good things about investing in the right stocks. So they are so good, and that brand has always stayed with me. And they recently sponsored IPL to World Cup, and it's become one of the biggest brand in India today.
Okay.
And
If we take a pie chart or something, like how much the revenue come from Indian market and how much from the other countries like European and US countries for Lollipop currently?
initially it was 60% from India, 40% from outside. The first year was 50 and 50.
Okay, first year.
The third year was 60 from India, 40 from outside, and fourth, fifth, sixth, it became 60, 70 and 30. And today it is 80 and 20.
80 India and
80% of the
20
revenue
from.
comes from India
Oh,
and 20% from outside.
cool. Okay. And can you double click on that first 50/50? Where that 50 came from? In which countries the revenue came from?
Random country. UK, we had a project. US, we had one. Middle East also, we had one project. These are the projects that we got through connections, through my ex-colleagues that I worked in Saudi Arabia. And one colleague who moved from New Zealand to US. Another one, I don't remember how we got it. I think they saw our website and they
Okay.
randomly posted the inquiry. And it was the perfect timing. We did a POC, which is called proof of concept, and we submitted on time and we won that project. Then after that, Lollipop ranking on Google became good, and we started getting a lot of leads from the second and third year. We started getting a lot of
What
leads.
about the Indian 50? Is that through connections or who believed you in that first year of Lollipop?
Yeah, connections. I think after Alma Mater, lot of things happened. Varun spoke about Lollipop publicly,
Wow,
and
wow.
Varun is a celebrity. He's
Haha.
very well known in the startup.
Yeah, yeah.
He's written a book, and a lot of people follow him. And he started talking about Lollipop, and a lot of people used to cross check with him about who's Lollipop. Then he used to say good things about us, and that got us projects. And one person I would like to mention who's the hero of Lollipop is Dr. Devi Shetty.
Okay.
Is a very well-known surgeon in India who's also a founder and chairman of Narayana Health,
Okay.
and a person who molded me to who I am today, and person who drove that energy in me to build Lollipop.
I think whether they have invested bucks in Lollipop. Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
invest. They are the first investors in Lollipop.
Cool. Okay. And a few of my friends are running agencies, and one thing they always like, they are like 2 3 years old. They always struggle is hiring at their early stages. And how it was to for Lollipop, since you are not in India for close to 10 years, then you came back. Like, how did you hire people? Um, how it happened?
I think back then I put an ad on newspaper and nobody turned up. And then I went to design colleges and asked the lecturers to send the
Which
students
design colleges?
Chitrakala Parishad, Srishti,
Okay, okay.
and if in Bangalore. So nobody took me seriously because Lollipop was just one person company. That was me. And back then, my mother said, "Go to Tirupati and shave your head because you're starting a company." So I went to Tirupati and shaved my head. I looked like one villain with no hair. And as a kid, I had fallen down and I have a big stitches here.
Oh, okay, okay.
So when you shave head, those stitches are visible, and I look like one goon. So with that head, I used to go to design schools and interview people. People ran away from me. So, but there was one girl who came for an interview. She was shit scared of me, and she finally said, "I will join this company." But she was honest, and she said, "I will only work for 3 months."
Okay. Did you hire
But she
her?
stayed for yeah, I hired her, and she stayed for 6 years.
Wow. Why? Did you ask her why?
I think she saw that we were up to something big.
Okay.
Initially, it was just me and her on the table
Okay.
working,
Uh,
and I showed her how to design, and then she enjoyed it. And then I gave her another opportunity to design for a website, and she was curious. She wanted to see the website going live. Then after that, within few months, we hired more people, and we became like a family. And they used to cook food for me. Sometimes I cook food for
uh,
them. And then slowly, until 3 4 years, we used to run the company like a family. Then after
like,
that, the company became too big to call everybody a family.
and first hire, she you hired her from the college, if I'm right.
Yeah, she was from a design college. I don't remember. It's an animation school,
Okay.
and she came and she had only 1 year experience, and the rest I trained her.
Okay. What
I used
about the
to.
rest of the people? Like in the first 10?
In the first year, there were only 3 people.
Okay.
One intern, two full time, and their salaries were the highest salary I paid was 10,000 rupees. The
Okay.
lowest was 7,000,
Okay.
and that's what I could afford because my projects were only 7,000, 8,000, 10,000, and my salary in New Zealand was 4 5 lakhs.
Like, what was the ticket size during 2011 and now? Average ticket size of a Lollipop
2011, the
store.
first project was 7,000 rupees,
Okay.
and then the highest was 1,50,000,
Okay.
which is Varun Agarwal's project, and now it runs in crores.
Oh, of course. Okay. Like, okay. What is the duration of a single project? It goes in months or in years?
Now we work on projects which is retainer. So we have like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years retainer, and we have multiple designers working on the project, and our billings are on per person. And sometimes we look at the entire project and we bill it as a flat cost. We have a different model. We have figured out what works best for our company, and we have we
Can
have
you talk more
something that
about
is
the
working for
different
us.
retainers in Lollipop?
This is pretty standard across. A
Okay.
retainer is basically a client will stay with us for a certain period of time, like 3, 6, or 1 year or 2 years. Baiju stayed with us for almost 1.5 year, and Udan was with us for 4 years, GIS for 6 years, and Vodafone for almost 4 years now. So we have contracts which every year it gets renewed, and some contracts we lose because of any new design studio that comes in, and they come with a lot of excitement, like exactly like us. We go with a lot of excitement, we win some project, and new design studios come with a lot of excitement, they win our project. So it's like that only. That's called retainer. And other things are like flat cost. Flat cost is basically they will give us the brief, and we put a cost to the brief, and we tell them that this is what it will cost, and then the negotiation happens and timelines are decided, and then we'll start working on the project. So we have a mix of startups, mid brands, and established brands, all
Okay.
kind of projects inside Lollipop.
Cool. In the early stages, did you work with other agencies, freelancers for the leads or any sort of things like that? No, you didn't.
We were
Okay.
independent studio.
Okay. Like,
We
haven't
never
you?
worked on contracts or anything like that.
You haven't delegated any works to freelancers out there. Like, if you are not in the position to hire anyone. Cool. Okay.
No freelancers, no contractors at Lollipop
That's
from day
amazing.
one until now.
Okay. Okay.
Because our clients engage us because we are Lollipop. We are not a body shopping company where you give us and we give it to someone and we make a commission. We are not that company.
What are the different ways you got your leads in? Word of mouth, you said, like either through connections, you said. From your connections from New Zealand and Saudi Arabia, you said that thing. Then Varunagara through Varunagara or something. Then what are the different channels you pull in the clients in the early stages for the 3 4 years?
I think the first thing is, as a founder, one has to make sure that they put their 8 hours in promoting the company. So imagine you have 8 hours a day and 5 days a week, which is 40 hours. As an entrepreneur, I'm sure you'll work another day extra, which is Saturday. So that is 48 hours. 48 hours you have to be on the street and tell people who you are. Okay. If you don't do that, your company won't grow. So that was the first step. So the first year I was always outside talking about Lollipop, meeting people, building connections and stuff. And second year, our website, we ensured that it is SEO friendly. It had the best content. It had a lot of elements that people will love. Then after that, we focused on social media. Social media is the most powerful one. Instagram today, and back then Facebook was very big, and LinkedIn is very powerful. So what we do, right? We have channels. So we have word of mouth and connection as one channel, LinkedIn as one channel, website is one of the biggest channel, then Instagram as a channel. So all this channel gives us lead. So when we say something on this channel, right, it generates something for us. It gives back something. So these are the things that we do, and we do it very strategically so that it gives back whatever we do. Like for example, let's take designer tea. The intention of designer tea is to tell the entire Chennai that Lollipop exists, and if you ever want to come and join a design studio, then Lollipop is the place. Okay. So now people will come, people will know who Lollipop is, and they will go talk about Lollipop outside, and their connections will know, and their connections also will know.
I kind of
So
understand
now
that you
when
are establishing or spreading the word about you are uh, kind of talking about that Lollipop's culture. You come here,
yep.
yeah. Yeah.
So now there are channels, and all these channels generate leads for us. And today we are blessed with good leads coming to Lollipop every single day. And not just from India, we have got from Korea, we have got from Africa, and some countries where I don't even know where is it on the map.
Okay.
So we have got leads from the strangest country, and yeah, our website is globally now
Yeah.
recognized in our service, and our ranking is pretty good, and we get a lot of leads from through the website.
Now I have this question. You said that most of your revenue like as in 80% from India and 20% across the globe. And And you have centers in US and Vietnam and Dubai. What about the US centers? What are they doing? Is there in like I thought that they will be doing sales and marketing there. I mean total business there. Like how it works in US.
Currently, US market is not that great,
Mm-hmm.
and we are struggling in US,
In
honestly.
all three
But
centers.
it's okay. I won't say we're doing wonderful, but we're doing okay. It requires me going to US with my team and doing it. But my problem is I have to focus on India. That's where the engine is. That's where everything runs. So most of my time goes into managing India, Dubai, and sometimes Vietnam. And I haven't taken time to go and build US. I was supposed to relocate to US
Okay.
last year, but due to other reasons, I couldn't relocate. Next year, I'm planning to come back to India.
Okay.
And since I'm building my house, I want to come back and operate from India. But every 3 months, I'm in US.
Okay.
That is not enough. Maybe this year I'll spend more. Next year I'll spend more time in the US and we'll build the studio there. So we have people in all
How
the
many people
centers,
working there
but
in US?
very small.
Okay.
Every center has one or two. That's it.
Don't want to. Okay. What are their
Very, very.
everyday work will be?
They are designers
Okay.
slash business, or some are only sales and business. And we have projects where people from Bangalore, people from other centers fly to US,
Okay. Okay.
and they finish the project and come back. So we had a project from Cayman Islands,
Okay.
and designers from India went to Cayman Islands, finished the project, and came back.
What made you
And
took the decision to expand to US and what are you experimenting there in US?
our parent company, in 2019, we got acquired by a company called Terralogic.
Terralogic.
Terralogic is a US based company, and because of them, we went to US, or else I don't know much about US.
Okay.
And they are helping us out to establish in US, and they are already one of the biggest IT service company in the US.
You have this wonderful term. You kind of, I think you put out a lot of work behind making that artist by heart, designer by soul, entrepreneur by choice. Am I right? Yeah. Like, how do you think, like, whoever I talk to, and they're like, Anil Reddy is a fancy person who dance, who sing, who work in movies, who's an artist, who ride bikes, who travel. And what's the downside of not like what's the dark side of Anil Reddy? What he faced? Like only the fancy side I could see.
I mean, yeah, I have my moments of being sad, being down, and it's just that my experience and age has taught me how to handle it well. Like whenever I business doesn't do well or my designs gets rejected, I have the same feeling as you have. So you'll have that very uncomfortable feeling of whether you're a good designer, whether you're a good entrepreneur or no. I have the same feeling. It's just that I handle it well, and some people struggle to handle it. But if you ask me the dark side of it, I don't know anything. But I have my moments of being sad, being down. It's just that I try not to spend too much in that side of it because life has so much to offer, and I'm 43 now. I don't want to sit and break my head on something that doesn't make sense. I would rather take a motorbike, go find a new biryani place, eat, be happy, record a video, stitch it together, and put a reel and tell the world that I ate biryani today. Instead of telling them that I am crying, this world sucks, government sucks, everybody sucks. There's no point.
You personally feel that everybody sucks, the world sucks, the government sucks.
Nah, I don't. No.
Okay.
Not
No.
at all. Even if I feel, I'll keep it with my best friends, and because they will not judge me. In public, if I say all that stuff, people will judge me.
You're a very optimistic person as far as like I'm talking to you for a hour now, and you kind of don't want to put that I kind of like you got personally hurt by the growth of AI. I think I kind of see that. I may be wrong,
Yep.
but you are very optimistic. In Chennai also, I could see that you try to keep the place more energetic and motivate people. Hmm. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think the AI thing, right? The similar story back in 90s when computers came, I didn't have a great feeling because what we did, Photoshop could do better. And you cut the story there in 2023. What we do on Canvas now, AI can do better. And I think artists will always find a spot where he or she is visible. And see that I cannot say AI is beautiful and everybody should do it. As an artist, like for example, let's take your mother who cooks sambar so well. She grinds each and every masala. She goes to the vegetable shop. She picks up all the vegetables. She cleans it. She cooks it, and you eat and you appreciate. Now imagine a machine doing everything better than your mom. Will your mom like the machine? No. She
Yeah.
will feel that now my importance is not there. Now my kids are not going to appreciate my sambar anymore. So that feeling is there, but on the same time, we have to accept what is happening out there. Look, end of the day, art wins. Okay,
Okay.
that there's no doubt. There is no doubt because art has emotion to it. Art has empathy to it. Art has love to it. AI doesn't have. AI is waiting for you to say something so that it can show you something.
Okay.
With
Enough.
art, I don't need anyone to say anything. I can create.
Yeah. Okay, enough talking about AI. We'll come back to Dubai thing. And you are building the Dubai center currently. And what's happening there? And how is Lollipops going?
Look, every center outside India, right? We come here for business. In Dubai, purely we come for business because Middle East is a pretty big market, and we have tapped into some really good clients, some really big names, and US is also pretty much the same. But building a design studio here with designers, it is an expensive affair. Okay. Dubai to Bangalore is only 3 hours. It is same as flying from Delhi to Bangalore. So when you can travel in 3 hours, and the Dubai government is so wonderful, they made it so easy to get visas. I can fly anyone next day.
Okay.
So the team is always ready. So when they are ready, when I can fly them down anytime, why to build the entire design team here, right? It's very expensive to manage team here. The salaries are expensive. So here the team is pretty small, and I try to keep it small.
How many of them
And
there?
it's year three.
Three. Okay. Like all of them into business.
Design, business, all mix match.
Okay.
Okay,
Can you
like me
be
only.
more
There has
specific,
not been
please, if you don't mind?
sorry.
More specific, please.
More specific, we have a person from business development team who's also a designer,
Okay.
and she manages the business here, and she looks at where are the leads, not just in Dubai but also in Saudi Arabia. She's closed some projects in other GCC countries, and she's wonderful. She's a designer, half designer, half sales,
Okay.
and pretty much like me, I'm a
Okay.
designer and I connect with people and I
Of
do
course, yeah.
sales.
Uh,
And Vietnam is different. Vietnam, we didn't go there for business. We purely went there for talent. In Vietnam, we have about the total team strength, including developers, is 120 people.
which is a mixed match of Terrologic and Lollipop or Lollipop.
I think designers are around 30,
Okay.
25, 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And what do you think? Where are the other countries you can go for talent except India for design talent? I mean
Um,
the affordable talent like India.
Definitely Philippines,
Okay.
because they speak English, and anything specific if you're looking for life gaming, and I see Thailand is really, really good with some specific talent with 3D and immersive art and stuff. And I've seen some really good designers in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
Okay, but very small numbers. May I never been to that country.
Okay.
Hopefully, when I go there, I can explore talent over there. But with all the challenges that country is going through, I've seen designers
Yeah,
still
yeah.
stick around with the country and build some amazing stuff. And yeah, I think these are the countries I know. Costa Rica.
Okay. Where it
I was
is?
in Costa Rica January this year,
Okay.
and I met designers over there. Amazing talent, really, really good talent in Costa Rica. And I think that could be the other center that we will explore to build. But the only problem is it's on the other side of the globe.
Cool. Okay. And one thing I heard is that during when you started, many of the design agencies are started in India and they kind of vanished. And you are still here and you are creating name. What's the secret magic behind that? And what mistake they you think they did?
I don't know what mistake they made, but one thing I know is um, I I've seen people writing competitors. When you're running a studio, right, you always list down the competitors. I never listed anyone, and I always worked thinking that I should help other entrepreneurs also to become like I am, who I am. And I think that's what made Lollipop what it is today. Um, my funda is very simple, okay,
Okay.
and I would request every design entrepreneurs to think like this. Why do we go to China? We go to China because China is a manufacturing hub. Okay, if you want to manufacture this pen, China will do it at highest cost and the lowest cost,
Yeah.
because there are big factories, there are small factories, and there are small workshops also. So if you take this pen and go to China, you'll have options over there. You can go to S- Beijing, Shenzhen, Gunzhou. You can go to so many places over there, and there they will tell you how much and how fast they can make this pen. Okay, and why do people come to India for IT services? Because there is Infosys, Wipro, there's small companies even in Madurai. There's so many tech firms. Now imagine if India has a similar story for design. We have small studio, we have big studio, we have medium sized studio, right? The entire world will come to India for design. I always encourage people to start design studio, because once we have plenty design studios, then the entire world will come here. Then we'll have enough business for everyone.
Yeah.
So I always work with that intention, and I think that's one of the reason why we survived and built big. The rest of the people I see, they competing with us, which when it was no point competing with us, right? Because there's so much to eat. There's so much. The ocean is too big, too many fishes, and I don't see. I never took any of the Indian design studios as a competition. I always looked up to them. Like for example, um, Think Design was one of the design studio I always look up to. Huge, and Fractal Ink, Net Brahma.
Okay.
They're all pretty established company when I started. Okay, and whenever I used to meet them, I used to really like meeting them. Wonderful people. All the founders are so good. They always encourage me.
Okay.
Net Brahma founder is younger than me,
Oh,
and he
okay.
doesn't have any design experience. He started design way before than Lollipop existed. So when I met him, he was so nice. We went out for breakfast. We used to meet often. So such a wonderful person. I think when you have such kind of a great connections with people, India will become a design destination. One thing design, which is like in the one
Yeah.
very
They have a wonderful
known design
portfolio.
studio. Yeah. It's in Delhi, in Gurgaon. The founder, Divanshu, is such a wonderful guy. We keep talking often. And when he was in Dubai, we met and we went out for a drink, and we had some good time. And that's how the Indian design studios are connected. one thing never calls Lollipop as a competitor, or Lollipop never calls one thing as a competitor. We have so much to do here. We have so much to build, and I don't think so. We want to be a crab in a bucket.
You kind of
So end
recall
of the
this
day,
thing called making India a design destination, and one like we were talking for some time, and I know like in between you mentioned Madurai, and recently one of your ex-employee started an agency there, a Camel Design
camel
Studio,
design.
and their work is amazing. Like I kind of see Lollipop there. Yeah, like since he worked here, the selection of colors and things, and his website is amazing. And like, how do you think, or like, where do you think India as a design destination, and where are we going?
I think we are heading in the right direction. Now look at Jamil, who's the founder of Camel Design.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a wonderful designer here at Lollipop. I really enjoyed working with him. And whoever leaves Lollipop, I always tell them, go and start your own. Go back to
Okay.
your hometown and start your own. I think out of all the bunch of people who left Lollipop, Jamil was one who took a bold step to start his own design studio. I'm very proud of him. I always congratulate him whenever I see some post on Instagram. Uh, it's like my student, so I always feel happy about it. And not just that, right? Even Pineapple Design Studio, and there's a lot of design studios who have been a part of Lollipop,
Okay.
and so nice. And now, what will I feel like? I'm like a very proud teacher or a proud person where we all work together in the past, and now they're all building their own design studio and making such a good name, big name. And now is the time to office, and clients are okay with it.
Let's have a quick question. Just like if you are like starting Lollipop from scratch, okay, and no team, no clients, nothing, and if you have to start from scratch again, where you will hire them, where you will onboard, I mean, like source the clients in, like what will be your way of doing it, and bring in the team, the build to build the
I
team.
think first you need to build a brand.
Okay,
Whatever you want to call your company, build a brand and give it a story.
around
The
me or the
first
company.
one of you and the company.
Oh, cool, both.
Look, a company doesn't run without a human running it. When you say Apple, everybody will say Steve Jobs. When I say Microsoft, everyone will say Bill Gates. When I say Twitter, now there is a new name to it.
Yeah.
And anything, any brand that you take, right, there's a human representing it, a human carrying that brand on his shoulder to promote the brand. So if you have to start now, whatever you want to call your company, call it, but Sudarshan should be the brand ambassador of that company. And the first 2 months you have to carry that brand across your shoulder,
Okay.
not sit in your studio, and not sit in front of the computer. I don't think so. You will build a company sitting in front of a computer. People, when they see you in real, you're more likely to get a project than you reaching them on LinkedIn.
Okay. Where should I be going?
Sorry?
Where should I be going? Like, if I'm not in office, where should I be going?
Go to events like Designer Tea, go meet people. Now you met me.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow when you start your own, you will tell me that, hey, remember I met you at Designer Tea and I did a podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
And then maybe if something comes up, I'll help you out. Like that, I'm sure by the time you start your own, you would have interviewed 50, 30 people, 20, 30 people. And then you have that connection. You'll use that connection to build your first business. So this is how you build. If you send a request on LinkedIn, I will never pay attention to it, because in a day I receive 100 requests and I never ever respond. But if somebody is willing to come and meet me in person, I will encourage.
Okay. Okay. For the
So
first,
start from there. Winning a client should not be your goal. Building the brand and spreading the message should be your goal.
okay, building the brand should be like building a portfolio, or what else can I build the brand? In what other ways?
Like for example, in this crowded market, there is design, there's Lollipop, there's one thing, there is Net Brahma, there's Thing Design, there's so many design studios. If you would start a design studio, what story are you going to tell? Okay, how will you stand out is something that you need to sit, plan, and then tell the world.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
And then once you're clear in your head, eventually that message will change, but at least for the first few months you have to carry that on your shoulder. Let me tell you this. One of the biggest project I closed in 2013 and 14 was through a car driver.
Okay.
Okay, I was coming from airport, and this Uber driver picked me up, and he said, "Can I cancel the ride? Can you give me cash?" I said, "Okay, I'll give it. It doesn't matter to me." He canceled the ride, and I gave him cash. While coming, he asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I run a design studio." Then he said, "Can you give me a business card?" Then I gave my business card to him. Then he was like, "Can I pick you up every time you go to airport?"
Oh
I said,
wow.
"I'll call you."
Okay.
Then the same evening, he picked up another person from UK,
Okay.
and he told the UK guy that he showed my card and he said, "I pick him up every time he goes to airport." That UK guy
Interesting.
took that card which I gave it to him and he said, "Do you know him?" He said, "Yes." Then he took and he called me and he said, "I've come to Bangalore looking for a design studio. Can I come and meet you?"
Who's that?
So one Uber driver connected me to that person, and we got one of the biggest project that time.
Who's
So
who's
I
that?
believe, sorry,
Who's that? That UK person.
it was a coffee thing. I cannot
Okay.
disclose
No
the name.
problem. No problem.
So they are into a network of coffee estates and stuff. Okay, and um, so it is a startup which I doubt if it's made it big, or I don't know. But look, imagine if I wouldn't, if I didn't speak to the driver that day, if I didn't give the business card, if I told the driver, "Mind your business." So I spoke to him. I was very friendly with him, and I knew that projects can come from anywhere. Your neighbor can call his friend and tell that, "Hey, my neighbor is a designer." So you don't know where the next big project is going to come from. So you have to carry your brand and you have to tell the people. But again, you don't have to be like an insurance policy seller where you go to everybody and sell it. You have to find your spot and then introduce yourself.
What about the team? How will you build a team from scratch?
Team is depends on who you are. If you are a brand, if you have that energy, you will attract people. At the end of the day, why does team come to you? They look up to you. And today, the reason why people look up to me is because I'm very much hands-on work. I still design. I don't just talk, but I also design. People at Lollipop have seen my design output and they enjoy. And sometimes they are way better than me. And we have a very mild competition between our designs. And there's like a Nasir is a superstar. Every time Nasir designs and I design, his designs get approved.
I really want to
So
talk about Nasir and the Chennai team. And I mean, like, how did you pick people like Nasir? And he was like very true to the company. I mean, like, he got the name. I kind of asked him, bro, you got the name and everything. You've been in the industry for like more than 10 years. Like, what's your plan? Like, are you planning to start in something out of Lollipop? No, bro. Like, I gave some commitment to Lollipop. I'll be here for some couple of years. And I kind of really admired that word from him, saying how a person can be committed to a company. And that is something I believe that you must have people like Nasir across all the centers.
yeah, we do have, and Nasir is very close to me, and yeah, Nasir actually joined the Bangalore, and then for because of his personal commitment, he went to Chennai. But the day when he left to Chennai, he told me that whenever you start in Chennai, I'll be the first person who will join, and I'll. He also promised me that he will build Chennai studio. Such an honest guy. The day when I met him and I told him we are going to start in Chennai, from finding an office space, getting the interiors,
Wow.
interviewing people, training them, retaining them, then not just that, finishing projects and finishing projects like Ramco, which is one of the biggest project in Tamil Nadu that we
Okay.
got, plus creating events, building a brand. He's always been very true to it and very committed. And in fact, Lollipop Academy is his baby now.
Lollipop Academy,
He's the
yes. Right. Thank you so much for your time, Anil, and a lot of insights. I think in between, I made you feel uncomfortable during sometimes. If I did that, I'm totally sorry for that. And yeah, and wonderful talking to you, Anil.
Thank you so much, Sudarshan. I look forward to meeting you again next time in Chennai.
Sure.
And thank you, and look forward to seeing this podcast